than ever before, including, this was remarkable, including the final 14 hours live. The world's longest race on the world's fastest network, Speed Vision, and Speed Vision's Speed Weekend International. There's a look at the number 2 Toyota Motorsports Toyota that is currently running in the second spot, and you'll notice that the number 1 entry is right behind it. Watch what happened here. You can see Bernd Schneider coming up on one of the Riley and Scott cars. He had a pretty big lead, but David, it all went away because of a very hairy moment.
It did. He tries to go around the outside of his car, realizes he isn't going to make it, and look at this locking up there, smoke coming off the back tires. Bernd Schneider's heartbeat raising rapidly there, loses a lot of momentum, but does not quite lose the lead. The 2-car of Thierry Boutsen right behind him there, watching all that with eyes no doubt on all, and stops, thinking, I'm about to take the lead of the race.
Yes, and Schneider just made, watch this.
Yeah, this is a
replay on the world feed, and it looks like he is going to get completely bottled up, but Boutsen dives and goes wrong. Schneider ducks right through and was able at the exit of the Mulsanne hairpin to actually get a little bit of his gap back. We're back to live here, and as they head into Indianapolis, it's not a huge margin, but it's bigger than it was.
Wow, those two Riley and Scott's absolutely side by side going into the Mulsanne. And that was a bit of a hairy old moment, huh?
Was a hairy moment. There is a good look, tails away, as they say, of the number 6 Schneider entry. And one of the lead drivers in that Mercedes team is standing by with Andrew.
Yes, he certainly is. As you can see behind me here, all the Mercedes team is now much more relaxed. It's been a horrible morning for them. Pedro Lama's with me. Pedro, the right decision to start the race?
Of course, I think so.
Are you worried at all about getting into that car, which has been upside down?
Well, it's always, we must be careful what's happened, but we saw what's going on, we hope, and I think everything goes well until now.
I mean, this is a great team, a very well-prepared team, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, it is.
And this could be a big thing. You were in Formula 1, now you're in GT racing and so on. This could be a big day for you.
Yeah, of course, the car is very quick, the race is good. I mean, we must wait and see, because the race is really long. We must stay on the track and try lose as much as possible on the box.
Pedro Lamy there, looking forward to his drive a little later in the afternoon.
Thanks, Andrew. Of course, last year he was one of the major players in the Viper's success in the GT2 division, not only at Le Mans, but also at in the FIA GT series. He is a remarkable young driver, and he may be a rookie here in the GTP division. He's certainly not at Le Mans. There is a great group of rookies that are racing here at Le Mans, and Andrew and Diana took a look.
Peter, a lot of people see this race as a race for the old pros, the really experienced hands. Yet here you are, one of the young guns of British and indeed now Japanese motor racing. What are you doing here?
Well, I think everyone knows that Le Mans is probably the most famous race in the world, and I think, you know, why should I not have a go at it? So I'm here with Mercedes, and it's a great opportunity for me.
Now, most recently, I suppose, it helped to launch the career of Alexandra Wirtz. Do you see this as a bridge into Formula 1?
I think victory here certainly wouldn't help your career in any way, whether you want to go to Formula 1 or carry on in sports cars. So really, I mean, sure, I want to continue in single-seaters, but I think victory here would be fantastic, and, you know, it would guarantee a future in something at least.
Well, so, Tiemann, what can Le Mans do for a young driver?
Actually, I think a lot, because if you win this race, I think if you think like Formula 1 or Le Mans, just sure, Le Mans is one race, Formula 1 has a lot of races. So compared to that, I think the whole World Championship Formula 1 could be the same like for young driver Le Mans, just winning Le Mans. You saw it on Alex Woods, for example, it was a big step for him. So if you have the great opportunity to win here, it could be not too bad for the career in the future.
Mark, a very different year for you this year. Of course, last year you didn't get a drive. What's that been like for this time?
Yeah, well, it's good to be the lead driver in my car, and it's a main responsibility to make sure we prepare the car the best we can for the race. Last year, for sure, we learnt a lot, and I was just about to get prepared to drive the car after Bernd started the race, and unfortunately the car failed. So that's Le Mans. So this year, hopefully, we're going to run a lot better than that.
Yeah, you talked about this circuit. You found it one of the best circuits you've ever raced on?
Yeah, it is. I'm still not fully to grips with it yet. You know, I think the hardest part for me would be the Porsche cars, because they just seem to be I seem to lose so much time there because I think, okay, I'll push hard through here and I'm not even using all the track, you know, and then the next lap I go onto the grass on the exit of the corner. I think, well, what can I do right?
I think you really have to be a team. This is so important in Le Mans. You are not like in Formula 1, just your car, and you try to improve and to beat your teammates. So here you have to try to make your teammate quicker and to support him most as you can. Because this race is won by 3 and the mechanics are not only by one driver. And this is the big difference, I would say, to the single seat or to sprint races. And if you don't work together, I think you won't finish the race on the podium.
Well, Mercedes has long dedicated a lot of its resources to bringing along very talented young drivers and give them an opportunity to really show their stuff. And when they do, it gets recognized when you run for a program like Mercedes and you show success like Mercedes has done. There's a great shot from the Goodyear blimp of action down the front straight at Le Mans.
Reluctant to start, and they can really give your heart a tough time.
So there we see our leader coming through the Porsche curves up towards the Ford chicanes. Very quick bit of road, hasn't pulled out much. He's got a lap car in front of him. That is one of the Audis by the look of things. So
indeed, the number 10 Audi Coupe.
Gave him some room there, but look how close the Boutsen car has pulled up to him now as they come into the Ford chicanes. Really tight all over the curb. These guys just like they're driving the Formula 1 car, and already that red Toyota covered in brake dust from those front brakes.
You notice the lights already on. It's not because it's dark. It's still very early here in these very northern latitudes. It will not be absolutely dark, really, until 11 o'clock at night. But the lights are on the leading cars because they want to be seen by the cars they're overtaking.
And we're seeing just how it's amazing how much time you can lose by a simple breathe of the throttle. They are racing so hard. The number 10 Audi running fairly strong at this point, staying right in it. But let's go down and talk to, I believe, Emanuele Pirot.
We stopped after 2 just to have a look at the tires, not to take any risks. And now we discussed whether to take another compound or not. Apart from that, I'm really happy. You know, the approach for us is not to be the leaders, but trying to make it to the end, hopefully. And we don't have so much experience about what pace to have, so we take it, quote, easy.
Quote easy from Emanuele Pirot. Back to the booth.
That is not what's happening at the front right now, Andrew, even though they're lapping in the 340, 341, 342 second range, David. As you can see on the video, we've just had a change for the lead going into that first Mulsanne chicane.
Well, a bit of traffic got them there as they came down there, and the Thierry Boutsen car, the number 2 car here, you see him getting right tucked in under the wing there, gets a good draft as they come down to that chicane, pulls up along the inside, blocks the turn for Bernd Schneider, and takes away the lead. Now is he going to be able to pull away?
Interestingly, too, I mean, even though Schneider was driving the wheels off that car, trying to stay in front, doing everything he could, when they got into that pass zone, he didn't make it difficult at all. I mean, you're not going to risk this early in the race doing something silly to block for the lead. He gave plenty of room.
This is a great battle for the lead, gentlemen. 3 cars covered by just less than a second here. 2 works cars from Toyota and 1 Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes questionable whether they were even going to run. There was talk all through the morning after that car of Mark Webber's flipped that they might withdraw the cars, but they didn't, and now we have got a great long-distance race on our hands.
Well, the Mercedes here in the Toyota sandwich definitely now being hounded by Martin Brundle in the number 1 car. Has caught up a little bit. This is that fast run down to the Porsche curves. Again, look how steady that lead Toyota is. Obviously, we're only going to see the lead Toyota. The Mercedes definitely not looking quite as stable in there. But on the other hand, the time's so very, very even. The Mercedes best lap so far, 3:37.79. The best lap of the number 1 Toyota, 3:37.253. So just half a second there, which on an 8.5 mile lap is not exactly even.
No, that's awfully close racing. And I have to believe when Mercedes was perhaps considering what to do, should they withdraw or not, the loudest voice to race, I'd be willing to bet, was Bernd Schneider. If you've seen him race, he is fearless. He loves to race these cars. And they made the switch to the Ford. They just weren't getting the speed that they wanted. Take a look at the battle at the front of this one. Obviously, the number 2 Toyota made the pass for the lead. That's Schneider being hounded by Brundle. And there's the gap. The red car at the top of that screen heading out. But working into that picture is the number 17 BMW with Christensen, is putting in a great run. Here is the number 2 Toyota that continues to lead, but the lead 4 cars, folks, are now covered by 4 seconds. And of course, just a little bit behind it. Right before we went to break, we were talking about Bernd Schneider. He is a remarkable driver, has long been the leader of this Mercedes-AMG team, but he finds himself running second. And Alan DeCadenet asked him about that.
You came here for the pre-qualifying session in May, and we all thought you were what we call sandbagging, pretending to go slow, but it doesn't seem that's been the case, though. There's obviously, what, an aerodynamic problem, perhaps?
Absolutely not, because our top speed is obviously quickest on the straight, and that means the aerodynamic part is quite good. We had little problems, especially in the Porsche corners, and probably it's the name fault. It should be Mercedes corner, otherwise in that case it would be quicker. But honestly, I'm absolutely surprised that the Toyotas are so quick. All the others are on the pretty much same level, and the Toyotas 2 seconds even more ahead of us, and that means you have to work hard now.
And Bernd Schneider, when that's his job, working hard now, he does it, and he's been doing that here. Look at that, we're watching. That is the gap, first to fourth. That is it right there.
A little bit of Teutonic humor found its way into that there.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Corner's named the wrong name.
Bernd Schneider is one of the fittest men I have ever seen. I don't think he's got an ounce of fat on him.
I haven't got an ounce of fat on him at all. His body fat must be just 0. But look at this now, that Toyota in 3rd spot. Only just behind him is the number 17 BMW. There it is. That's the fourth. There's first through 4th at the end of an hour and 25 minutes. That's not too bad.
3 makes in the first 4 places. 2 of them German, 1 of them Japanese.
And Tom Christensen giving that car an absolute ride here at Le Mans. BMW fans are going to be mighty proud. We'll be right back. Welcome back once again to Le Mans, and the accordion effect in traffic is being seen here frequently. That's the number 2 Toyota that was leading by about almost 2 seconds. That's gone. It got caught up behind one of the slower GTS cars, and Schneider got a real run, brought Brundle with him. They worked by that car. The BMW got stuck. Oh, and our first and second place cars make the move into pit lane. Thierry Boutsen in the number 2 Toyota Team Europe entry, and Bernd Schneider coming in again in the AMG Mercedes. And boy, the battle's going to go on here in terms of fast pit stops and pit times in pit lane.
And of course, it's so hard to rush the pit stops with all that doing the fuel first. Only 4 people are allowed to work on the car, except somebody can help the driver, and a technician can plug in and get data, retrieve data out of the car. So it's a fairly complex. They look awfully slow.
And this will be second stop for both. Andrew.
Yeah, well, down here the number 2 car has come in. Thierry Boutsen has climbed out of the car. Little element dish, they have to adjust the seat a bit. He's being strapped into the car. Joanna Moss, who is actually the race engineer for this car, she's there. She had a big smile across her face just before the car came in. So they're obviously happy. They will take a tyre change. The fuel is still pumping in at the moment. And I'll come back to you a little later, hopefully with Thierry Boutsen. Alan.
Oh, it's really exciting down here now because we've got both car 6 and car 5. Both the Mercedes are in. Just routine pit stops, of course, but they've got to wait while they put the fuel in before they can change the tyres. Car 6 came in first. It's already got all its fuel in. Its tyres are on, and everything's looking pretty good. Andrew, what have you got for us?
Yeah, well, this pit stop continues here. Obviously, they take just about a minute when they're changing the tyres. The door is just being slammed now. Everyone is moving back, and I think the car... Yeah, Alan, how's it with you?
Well, it's pretty good down here. The number 6 car's left. That's Mercedes number 6. Just routine, filled it up with fuel, changed all the tyres, off it's gone. The second car, number 5, they filled it with fuel. The tyres are going on. Everything's looking pretty good. How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, well